My only thing with time manipulation for Sarada in particular is the Byakugo, and I think she has to have that. One, I've mentioned this several times, but one, she talked about it in the manga. They alluded to it having a connection to the Otsutsuki. Hashirama, I always get their names mixed up. Hagoromo Otsutsuki in particular, it dates back to his era, which tells you quite a bit. The visual comparisons to it and the Karma Seal, a diamond-shaped pattern, marking spread across the body, imbuing the caster with power, so on and so forth. And I think that working in tandem with the Mangekyo, she can store chakra over a period of time and then release it in a quick burst via the Byakugou seal. She can never go blind, so there's no need for the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan mechanic. That kind of stuff to me is meaningful. Basically have immortality, and then you can factor in time manipulation regards to other people's abilities. Or other people in general, to where not only can she use it internally with her Byakugo seal, but she can also use it externally to slow down people or to predict movements, or depending on how you want to work. If she sees things in the future and then comes back similar to an Urashiki, something similar to Madara from the video games, where he can kind of repeat time, something like that. But I think whatever it is, based off of her contemporaries, which is Mitsuki, whose power I think scales higher than anyone else's in part one, because they're literally saving it for part two. I think Mitsuki's like a Might Guy sleeper, low key the strongest dude around right now. We just don't know it yet.
He slapping hammers
Or a
out of
board
people's hand and one shotting them. So yeah, let's give it to him. Bro. Let's give it to him.
or a Boruto who's obviously Boruto, or a Kawaki who's obviously Kawaki, the main two characters. Her contemporaries dictate that whatever her visual prowess is, it's going to be absolutely busted. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it. The big thing for me was Sarda. It don't look like she's getting a Byakugou seal partner. I'm sorry. Her and medical ninjutsu just doesn't mix. We seen that.
Well, you don't need a medical ninjutsu to learn the Byakugou seal. It's about chakra control and
Chakra
storing up
control,
chakra
baby. Mm.
for continuously for 3 years, I think. So I mean, you don't really need that actually to learn the Byakugou seal. So I mean, I guess maybe they can tie that in, but I think she won't need that in order to learn it because it's actually not required. That's just a special thing, sort of like a Super Saiyan medical ninja. Like just in case like you get hurt, you can activate
Right.
the seal, which is only specific to Tsunade and Sakura. So maybe they just use that purely as power, as just an offensive weapon instead of like a backup like contingency plan just in case the medic is hurt. Maybe they can use it as like an offensive weapon for Sarada.
Yeah, and even it's stated in the actual lore in the manga, like it dates back to the era of Hagoromo. So like there's no medical ninja back then. So it was clearly being used for different purposes by different types of, I don't know, ninja, maybe ninshu users, maybe Hagoromo himself. So yeah,
No, that's fact.
versatility for sure.
That's something I ain't know. That's something I had a complete wrong misconception about the Byakugou seal. But yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
I didn't even know.
But
That. That's dope.
Yeah, but I kind of wish the manga went more in depth with that because I understand why the anime took that out because it didn't really go anywhere with it like currently, but I'm hoping that actually has some sort of relevance because there's a lot of potential with that because as Mello said, like it was referenced back to Hagoromo's time. I think there's something that could be like expanded upon there because Hagoromo was like the god of all shinobi at that point, and he basically created like the creator of all ninjutsu. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do if the writers go down that route.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah,
I agree. And I think it's just one of those things where, like, again, like with a Mitsuki, they just put a pin in it and like, hey, we mentioned it. It's established in the lore in the manga. We don't have to introduce it yet in the anime, just like her third tomo, but we'll get there. And it's the thing that we can even the Otsutsuki God concept was never mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if like this is gonna be like as Boris would say, tinfoil hat, right? I wouldn't be surprised if like the whole conversation between Ishiki and Code happens in a different form in the anime to where, because I personally don't think Ishiki's like gone for good or anything. I'm actually nah, I'll leave that later.
I have a video on this
But
actually.
No, I recorded one this morning about this, but so I actually think they could incorporate that Otsutsuki God concept that they left out of the anime, but kept in the manga or mentioned in the manga, in a different way, similar to her third tomo, in the actual anime. So yeah, I think they take these plot points. Oh, these are major details, big things. Let's put a pin in it so that we can kind of not just casually mention it or casually talk about, oh, she just so happens to have the third tomo if you didn't read the novels, or just like casually do this or that with the Byakugou seal connection to the Hagoromo. No, these are major things. Let's kind of build them up in the anime and make them meaningful. So yeah.